because fresh pineapple, when it's canned, tastes really good. Please give it a try. Freeze-dried strawberries are so weird. Hello, howdy, and welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Kathryn, the Aerogarden Homesteader. So I have a few things to get done today, one of which is to freeze-dry some strawberries. Strawberries are on sale, so we always pick up a few extra and freeze-dry some because they just taste so good. It's nature's candy. So what I do is I go through, and any that look really good for eating, I'm going to save aside for eating. But the ones that, you know, they got a bit more white on top, or they got slightly smushed, or, oh, that one looks really nice. Just don't look that good for eating, I will freeze-dry up and have them for later. I also have, I don't know if you can see it in the background here, I guess not, I got some pineapple I need to can up before they start going bad. So they have been unfortunately sitting a little bit longer than I wanted them to. I'm going for, I don't know if you can see the thickness, that's about how thick I want them to be. Any thicker and it just takes too long to freeze dry, any thinner and they're fragile, they'll still taste good. And we have done thinner, that's just slightly more annoying. And I do sometimes go thicker if I've got like a slightly smaller strawberry that I can only get 3 slices out of instead of, say, 4 slices. Wow, that's a behemoth. So I got lots of strawberries. So we have figured, and this is obviously through trial and error, and you know, your mileage may vary, but it takes about 1.5 pounds to fill a tray with strawberries. So, that's such a nice one. So obviously, you know, if you cut it thicker, if you stack them up a little bit higher, any of those things, smaller strawberries might take up less space, I don't know. But that's what we have managed to get to work for us. And I know this is a little slow and tedious. I did actually buy a strawberry cutter. It's kind of like an egg cutter, except it wasn't branded for eggs. But it cut the pieces a little too small, I thought. They're too thin. But yeah, so this is what we do. And it's the same with blueberries. I would go through and hand cut every blueberry in half. It gets real tedious real fast, especially when, you know, you can do like 10, 12 strawberries and you fill a tray. You have to do like an entire thing of blueberries and it just takes forever. But some things are worth the trouble. That one's a wee bit dirty. A little dirt never hurt, right? Is that how you boost the immune system? Eat dirt. That one looks nice. I should have left that one for eating. Now we have found that if the strawberries don't look perfect, they freeze dry and they taste really good. Let me give this one a wash. So the less than perfect strawberries, unless it's like super sour, it's just going to taste sour when it's done. But we have found that the ones that are kind of like watery, well, if you freeze dry it and get all the water out, they're no longer watery. So we like doing that. Especially with those, you know, strawberries at the beginning of the season where they're just trying to get you to buy strawberries. They're not actually good. Okay, I like to put them face up. So if I have an end piece, if you put it face down, it just seems like it takes a little longer to dry. And I just go through and, ooh, that one's thick, and just arrange them. And if I get little thin pieces, well, you know, that's chef's choice there. I like to eat that. Oh, these are good. And it's just a matter of kind of arranging them in a mostly flat, you know, layer. I try to not go over the lip, but every once in a while it kind of happens. Ooh, that one's thick too. So just do the best I can to get a relatively flat layer. I don't like to have my pieces sticking together either because, again, kind of makes it a little longer to freeze dry. Kind of want to have it freeze dry as quickly as possible so you're not running something extra, warming up the house or drawing electricity, but you know, it's got to draw a certain amount. Okay, well, I could probably put a couple more little wedges on or whatever, but that's pretty much it. Let me see how many, if I can get this one to fit. The silicone mat isn't required the strawberries will come free. Sometimes I find if you can pick up a corner, it frees things up a little easier and you're not trying to scratch it off the tray or use a lifter and scratch the tray. So, okay, that's pretty full. And that's how many I have out of a 2-pound, whatever it's called, 2-pound bin. So then I'll just slap a lid on that and get that in the freezer. Okay, well obviously you don't have to sit here and watch me do this whole thing. I will speed through a bunch of it, but when I get to the pineapple, I will definitely take you along for that. I'll obviously get the rest of them going before I put it in the freezer, but so these are the ones I'm going to save that look like they're really good for fresh eating. So on to the next tray. And I will just keep going through, and any I find that look really good, I will save. The rest will just get chopped up. Oh yeah, those are beautiful. They're monster strawberries though. Okay. Yeah, see, that's got a lot of white on top. It doesn't really matter. And you can remove some of the white if you want, but again, that just goes back to personal choice. You just decide how you like to eat things. I'll remove a little extra if it's like super green. See how this is kind of a little on the green side? I'll just take a little bit off. Normally I just leave it. My kids are pretty picky. They don't like freeze-dried strawberries because of the texture. So, that's fine. You know, some people just have texture issues. I can't tell if they have a texture issue or if it's just a, you know, you expect a certain thing when you eat it. A certain mouthfeel which they're not getting. So I don't know. It is pineapple time. So what I'm going to do is get these all cut up, get them in jars, and get them canned. So I highly recommend wearing gloves for this because the pineapple juice, if you're doing a lot of them, it will actually like burn your hands. Ask me how I know. So if you're going to do a lot of pineapple, I highly recommend getting that pineapple tool because it makes things so much easier. Oh, it smells so good. Okay, so if you notice, pineapple never kind of sit flat. What I like to do is, because it's got the spiral on it, I like to put it so that I'm digging in, going on the upslope. It's just like a, maybe I'm just really anal retentive, but okay, let's get this going. This tool does not get all of the pineapple off the flesh, or off the peel. So I got a kind of a trick for dealing with that, and I will show you how to get all of your pineapple, because you don't want to waste any of this good stuff. Now this is also pretty messy, so you create a bit of a suction, so it's hard to get it out. So I like to just kind of slice down a little bit, and then you can pry it open, and it does sometimes make it easier to get it out. You do also have to spin it back a little bit to unlock it. Okay, that's that. Keep the juice. I know sometimes it doesn't seem like much, but it does add up. So, okay, now the easiest way I've found to do this is to, see, spin it back on itself and put it upside down. Let's do these in stacks. So you can cut them into tidbits, into chunks. They're not going to be super fat chunks. It's just going to be as fat as the spinning part is, but it's still decent size. Okay, I am using, these are 3/4 pints. We used to do these in pint jars, and it's just a little more pineapple than we need for one portion. These are new, so I had them just sitting in some water to kind of rinse the insides of them a little bit. but I didn't sit there and hand wash them or put them in the dishwasher or any of that stuff. They're not super clean. They've just been rinsed. And if you do get new jars, make sure you check them, because I got one time and it had like a big chip in the thread. And it's kind of annoying because they say not to use chipped jars, but what if the chip is in the thread? Does it interfere with the ability to seal? I don't think it does, but at the same time, the jar is compromised. So, okay, we want 1/2 inch headspace. Now, I don't need these super full because that just adds to how much pineapple we have to use in one shot. We normally just use this for pizza. I know, we're weirdos that way, but we like pineapple on our pizza. Okay, and obviously, I mean, I'll just sort of speed through this, but since I am using a smaller than recommended jar, I will have to size up to the next size recommendation to make sure I am within safe guidelines for processing times. I believe it's 15 minutes at just, water bath canning, but if not, I'll mention it on screen, or I'll let you know later when I actually look it up. You'd think I could remember some of these things because I literally just did pineapple the other day. No, I don't. I guess part of it boils down to, why remember something you know you can look up? Okay. I have 8 of these jars. I have 4 pineapple. Let's see how far this goes. How many of these jars I can fill. So I will show you what to do with this, but then I will save the rest for after. I kind of like to just do them in one big shot. So, cut the bottom off. Sometimes you get this extra little bit here. You can cut that out. Put that in my jar. This is just so good. Okay. So this one is not too bad. See, I got pretty close. There's a little bit here, but it's probably not worth trying to get it off. One thing you can do is kind of squeeze it and get some of the juice. Make sure you're wearing an apron, but you can get some of the juice out of it and use that to top off the jars. Now, I probably won't get enough this way, but I can add water. This just prevents it from being sort of diluted when you... it does say to just do water to pack your fruit in. I like to pack it in pineapple juice. I don't have any pineapple juice this time. Okay, there we go. Squeeze some of that extra juice out. Now, if you got a steam juicer, you can probably use that. I don't know. I don't have one, so I don't know if it'll work with pineapple skins. I know a traditional juicer will struggle with it because their skins are pretty dry and stringy. There we go. Okay, let me see what we can do on this one. So that's got the core in it, I think. Okay. Alright, here's my trick. Cut it in half. Cut that part in half. And if you're really careful, you can slice the extra pineapple right off the skin. See, that's a nice big chunk of pineapple. We'll be saving this for eating later. Then, there's still a little bit on here, so you can try to squeeze a little bit of the juice out. Normally not that anal about it, but now the top part, see, it's a lot closer, so I'm not going to get as much. But if I put the big part away from me, because I have a tendency to put my knife down, I can get some off of it. See, I don't get too much of the eyes, but still something we can eat. I didn't really get any out of that one. Okay, here we go. lather, rinse, repeat. I'm going to try to line that up on the core. Not that it always goes in straight, but there we go. Always seems to go in at a bit of an angle. You can kind of hear when it hits the bottom. It kind of makes a squelching noise, and there's just a change in sound. So I back it off, and I can cut down a little. Not too much, because you want to save the juice that's in there. And then you should be able to pull it out. This is kind of a messy job, so yeah, make sure you got an apron or something. I've already splashed juice at me. Now some of the pineapple coring tools have a thing that you can press down while it's still on the tool. And yeah, it would be nice and handy, but mine doesn't do that, so. I always get these like little seeds. And I always wonder if you can plant a pineapple seed and get a pineapple. Like, how cool would that be? Okay, you will need your debubbler tool at some point when you start adding liquid because, yeah, this is going to have bubbles. And in case you are wondering, I am cold packing this. I do think that the instructions call for a hot pack though, but yeah, I'm just not ready for a hot pack. I don't have anything ready. This was kind of a spur of the moment. I just need to get these done because they've been sitting on the counter for too long thing, so. Let me see, this is my 5th jar for 2 pineapple. Oh, I think I'm going to need more jars rinsed. Either that or we just eat some. Just a side note, if you're freeze drying, you can just freeze dry them like that. It works perfectly. Get my bits in there. And after these have been sitting for a little while, they do generate a little more juice. So. I'll fill each one with a little bit of this juice just so I have a little bit in there. Definitely won't have enough, but at least it'll help with the flavor. Okay, I'm going to turn my pot on, but these will still be cold by the time I get them in there. Get these filled up. Pineapple juice is definitely the way to go. If you have the time to go get some beforehand, I didn't. Good start. Now, in case you're wondering, canning fresh pineapple is actually really good. It tastes so good. It really tastes different from the stuff you get in a can at the store. There's just, I don't know, there's like a freshness to it, and I don't know if it's because you're canning it and you're eating it soon versus, you know, how long has that stuff in the can been? Or if it's just, I don't know, something different pineapple type, but yeah, we did it the first time, and I was like a little skeptical, but I'm like, well, how bad could it be? And it was like really good, like surprisingly good. So, okay, pineapple is obviously very sticky, so make sure you wipe your rims really well. It's also an acidic fruit, so water bath canning is the way to go. Okay, so I believe I got 8 jars. Yep, 8 jars from 4 pineapple. I probably could have filled up another 2 or 3 if I didn't want to have any for fresh eating, but that's just to let you know approximately what you'll get. Oops, there is not enough in my kettle. I need to get more water. Just made a big mess again. There does need to be at least an inch of headspace for the processing to occur properly and safely. If you're going for a long boil, you will need more than an inch because you don't want to top off and kill the boil. If you do have one of these, you can stick it on your jar and see, okay, I'm not quite, well, I'm at an inch there, but not quite here. So I am going to add a little bit more just to ensure I have a full inch of water and it's not going to boil down on me. Okay, that should do it. Get my lid on, bring it up to a boil. Okay, so for my elevation, and because I'm doing pints, I have to round up to the next size, I will be doing 15-minute processing time. You are supposed to hot pack these, although, you know, I've always done it this way and I haven't had a problem, so, you know, your kitchen, your rules. You can use water, apple juice, white grape juice, very light syrup, or a medium syrup. If you want to do it in something other than just water, you have choices. If you want to do something in, you know, like a syrup, you've got that choice as well. So I will see you back when this is done, and I'll show you how everything sealed and turned out. This is an update on the pineapple. I had 100% success on all of the jars sealing, although I did have one of them, I think, has a, what do you call it? Not a false seal, but a light seal. It's not very, I mean, see, the lid's on, but it doesn't seem like it's as sealed as the others, so I will be using that one first. I don't know if you can also tell, but it's cloudier than the other ones. It's like the color's a little different for some strange reason, so I'm not quite sure what happened with this one. I will be using it first just to make sure it doesn't go bad while it's in the pantry, but yeah, no, they all turned out great, and I can't wait to start using them. Because fresh pineapple, when it's canned, tastes really good. Please give it a try. Freeze-dried strawberries are so weird, so light and styrofoam-ish, but they're so good. It's like truly nature's candy. I'm not sure if at this stage they're actually healthier for you, but yeah, you gotta try these with lots of water. Drink lots of water while eating these things, but oh, they're so good. And this is how I went about preserving up strawberries and pineapple. Thank you for spending some time with me today. Let me know below if you try these, and I will see you next time on the Aerogarden Homestead.